Hi, I'm Gracie, and this is Scott from Small Worlds, Big Adventures, building community through gaming. And today we're going to be reviewing Cape May.
Cape May is a cozy game for 1 to 4 players. It plays in 1 to 2 hours, kind of depending on how many players you're playing with. Cost is $60. Setup, teardown, 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty average. Each player explores the board, purchasing residential and commercial properties. You're trying to amass the highest reputation among the players to be the winner at the end of the game.
Yep. And this board game is based around a real town. One of the really fun things about it is they actually have historical facts about the town. But going along with that, we're curious, what is the most interesting thing about your hometown? What would they build a board game around if they did one on your town? But going into our reviews, we review games on a 5-point scale from terrible, bad, mixed, good to excellent. And kicking it off with player agency, I think it's good. You are given a set of cards that have different movements on them. You get to choose which card you use. You get to choose what direction you get to go based on street rules, and kind of get to decide like what you prioritize. Are you going to go after landmarks? Are you going to go after commercial buildings? Or are you just going to birdwatch?
Yeah, I agree. Player agency is good. There are a number of strategies you can use to try and win the game. The bird watching is one of those. It gets you reputation points by the end if you put a lot of effort into that. Purchasing the buildings is another way to go. You get given special hidden goals that you get to choose from that can give you a bunch of points at the end of the game. It just gives you a decent amount of options as you're going through.
For sure. Mechanics wise, what do you think?
I said mechanics were excellent. The options that you're given feel like they are decently fleshed out. They give you more and more ability to do what you want to do as the game goes along. You're building on choices that you make earlier in the game. There are multiple ways that you can gain the reputation that you need to win the game, which all combine to make a game that feels really good.
Yeah, I thought mechanics are good. I think I kind of mirror everything you say, but I think it just doesn't have that like extra like kick of mechanics. I'm like, oh yeah, it's excellent. The one thing I will say that is a criticism to other games, the bird components. Like if someone just goes after birds, they're not going to run away with it. Like versus
Seven Wonders
Science. Yeah.
That's usually the example we go to. In Seven Wonders, there's a mechanic that is a little bit odd compared to most of the rest of the game, which is science. And if one person goes after science, they almost certainly will win that game.
Yeah. The different paths to reputation are much more balanced.
They're very balanced. The part of that, I think, is just the bird watching thing is so random that even if you delve deep into it, it doesn't guarantee you winning that game by any stretch. And it feels balanced. I agree.
Components wise, good. You have little like plasticky houses and buildings. You also have cardboard tokens for like a certain level of building, and then also the birds. The cards and art are lovely. The
art is really nice. The board is really the art on the board is impressive, and it works great. I would have put excellent if you had plastic miniatures for the first versions of buildings you buy. Instead, you get little cardboard tokens for the first version. Then when you upgrade them, you get a plastic version that goes on the board. In one sense, it kind of allows you to quickly look at the board and see, well, what is a first generation building and what's a second generation building, but that's not all that important. It would have added probably to the cost of the game to have done that, though, so it's understandable, but otherwise the components are good.
Yeah. Theming, what did you think?
I thought the theme was excellent. It's a probably the first that we'd call cozy game, which seems to be kind of a newer genre of board game. And it fits that. You're not at each other's throats in this, like other sort of similar terrain taking games. It feels like a cozy walk around this little town.
Yeah.
You're moving through the 4 seasons, and each season is split up into sections, and each section has an event, which also has a historical thing you can read to tell you why this event was kind of important. It all fits this like feeling of just kind of taking a stroll through this town in a lot of ways.
No, I agree. Excellent. The game is set in the early 1900s. The artwork, the way the buildings look, they all kind of resonate. Like you have Victorian houses and things. I love the fact that the like events are actual historical moments that happened in Cape May. And then on top of that, like I think you were hinting at it. You feel like you're actually a part of the town and you're building it up.
Yeah.
You're not just like visiting, you're actually like investing in it.
You're kind of a real estate magnate who is investing in the town. Yes.
Yeah. And then enjoyability. I think it's excellent. It is so cozy, for lack of a better word. It is like a calm enjoyability that can get competitive in a fun way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could play this game all weekend.
Yeah. I rate it as good for enjoyability. I have enjoyed every game that I have played. It isn't one where I'd sit down and play it over and over and over again, to be honest with you, but I do enjoy every time that we break it out and play it. Kind of what you said, that there is a competitiveness there, but it is not as vicious as other games can kind of get.
Yeah.
It is kind of annoying when somebody maybe buys the plot of land that you need on the corner of this one specific block.
Yeah.
But almost always you can find
alternatives.
An alternative to that. Later in the game, it gets a little bit harder to do that because so much stuff can be bought up. But even that isn't true game to game, depending on what the other players are doing.
And a lot of that, like, frustration of like people building on your area, it comes from the secret objectives.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts. It's wonderfully, delightfully cozy. If you enjoy a game that you should be like sipping tea on while you're playing and just like a casual funness, this is your game. It is really enjoyable in the sense of like aesthetically. I find a lot of just like pure enjoyment of just the aesthetics of it. And it's easy to explain. Like if you are onboarding a new player, you know, it's not this horribly complex game. But it is more complex than like...
It's maybe not the greatest gateway game.
No, not a gateway game.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And it's definitely one that like by the end of the first round, everyone's going to understand what's going on.
And they won't be far behind.
No. You can definitely like be new at this game and still feel competitive in it.
Yeah. My takeaways, the theming, it feels like a setting. It all kind of comes together to just kind of, like you said, give you kind of this cozy feeling of just kind of strolling around the town in a lot of ways. The way you move through town is weird with the card, not weird, but different with the way you use movement cards. And then you have to gather them up when you've used them all up. But it does all come together and works really well. There are multiple paths to victory, not a ton.
No.
But the way you play those out, especially with the hidden victory cards actually having a pretty big impact on the game, unlike some games. Means that where you're buying up locations and stuff is going to change from game to game. And that's not even including the bird watching stuff, which can have a couple of interesting aspects to that. Works really well. I really like, and I don't know if I can stress it enough, like the coziness of this kind of also comes into there are, on the board, every section has multiple options that are at a base equivalent to each other.
Yeah.
So there doesn't need to be a lot of contention between who is buying what. Now that will come into play with your special victory, but it just helps add to just kind of a happy, like friendly playthrough. Whereas other games where you're buying specific locations on the board can get contentious pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Because once that place is gone, then it's gone. And that's not quite the case in this game. And it works really well.
I will say our most contentious game was when we all went after birds.
Yeah, we were all bird watching.
For different reasons, but we're all like, this is the game, we're gonna be bird watching.
Yeah.
But even with that, like, there's enough birds to go around.
Yeah, we didn't run out of bird tokens or anything. Me being on a specific bird watching spot doesn't stop you from going to that spot. Like it still worked real well.
Yeah. If you like games like Ticket to Ride, Trails, or Catan, probably gonna like this game.
Yep, it shares some aspects of those games.
It either shares dynamics or kind of the feel of playing it. Yep. If you have enjoyed us reviewing Cape May, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to hear more game reviews, game walkthroughs, gamekeeper advice, or anything else board game related, go ahead and subscribe. And if you hit that notification bell, you will be notified the next time that we upload a video. If there's nothing else, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Great.
Good job.
Good job. May, I like it.